Hey everyone, Edgar here, the host of Snug Wrestling. If you're looking to unwind without the hangover, check out Good Fuels. These are THC infused seltzers made with all natural ingredients, clean, crisp, and consistent every time. It's an easy, balanced way to relax, hang out with friends, or just vibe without the drawbacks of alcohol. And because you listen to Snug Wrestling, we got an exclusive offer for all of our listeners, 20% off at shop.getgoodfuels.com when you use promo code SNUG at checkout. That's shop.getgoodfuels.com and you get 20% off with promo code SNUG at checkout. That's Good Fuels, real chill, no hangover, must be 21 and over.
Hey, this is your Olympic hero, Kurt Angle, and you're listening to Snug Wrestling. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's time for the Snug Wrestling Podcast. I am Edgar, the host. Happy Friday, everybody. We are going to review Friday Night SmackDown, the go-home show to Elimination Chamber. And of course, like always, with me, the Snug Crew, Mr. Blood, Tommy, and Toxic. You guys, we are less than 24 hours away, 1 day away from the Elimination Chamber. And unlike Monday Night Raw, I think it is safe to say that this episode of SmackDown felt like a go-home show a little bit more than Monday Night Raw. Not fully, because there was a lot of filler stuff on this episode of SmackDown, if I'm being honest. However, one of the things that really stood out to me about the show was it seemed like a little bit more exciting, and I think a lot of that has to do with all the changes that have been reported since the Bronson Reed injury, but we'll get into all of the details, all the nitty-gritty of this episode of Friday Night SmackDown. How we feeling tonight, fellas?
Feeling like I can't believe I'm about to fucking say this, man, but Monday Night Raw, take notes. This is how you're supposed to do, in some part, a fucking go-home show. Can't believe I'm actually saying it. Monday didn't feel like a go-home show at all. It felt like 2 or 3 segments at max on a 2.5-hour show had any effect, bearing, or consequence for this weekend, and that's because there was 2 qualifying matches for Chamber. And then there was CM Punk and the Finn promo. That was like it. And then, hey, they sent me this fucking crate again. But when it comes down to it, Friday tonight actually felt like the majority of the stories circulating around Elimination Chamber had segments attached to them tonight. The crate, the stuff about Jey we're going to get into, the main event, the in-ring segment with all the guys in the chamber. Like, there was actually real substance tonight for tomorrow. And I never thought I'd say this, considering SmackDown has not done a goddamn thing to justify a 3-hour fucking show for the last several months. And if you ask me, they never will justify a 3-hour show until they're actually regularly beating Raw again, like the good old days. But when it comes down to it, I can't believe I'm going to say this, and I think this is the first time I've said this in a long time. SmackDown was better than Raw this week.
Yeah, no, I have to agree, because to me, Raw didn't feel like a go-home show, but it did at some point. But SmackDown just did better this week, which rarely never happens unless it's like a huge big deal kind of thing, which really no. But I enjoyed SmackDown, but they just got to do something about the 3 hours, because I can't sit through 3 hours of fucking SmackDown, especially with my attention span. I just can't focus on one thing for 3 hours. I mean, I was in town whenever SmackDown started, in Walmart in the Lego aisle looking, because yeah, fuck you. And it lasted until I got home. So I really want them to go back to 2 during the summer, but I enjoyed the show tonight.
I did also enjoy the show. Overall, this one actually felt like a go-home show compared to Monday, because like Blood said, there was like 2 damn segments for that.
I guess we're going to get started because, okay, so I don't think Toxic, I don't think it's just you, dog. I don't think it's just you having issues staying focused on this show because it's 3 hours fucking long, dude. Like there's no way anybody can stay focused and paying attention completely on a 3 hour fucking show, no matter what it is. Movies aren't even this long, bro. And like
Incorrect.
when you're sitting in a movie theater, what?
Avengers Endgame was 3 hours and 6 minutes. The Hobbit's
Okay,
3
that's
hours 15. Titanic's
okay.
3.5 hours.
Most
Okay,
movies are
Avengers
not 3
Endgame
hours
was
long.
different though.
Most movies are 2 hours long, and even then, 2 hours to sit in a fucking movie theater in front of a screen, it's a lot, bro. It's a task. It's hard to do. Unless you absolutely love it, some people would be able to sit through the 3 hour Avengers thing because they love it, right? It's nonstop action. And as much as I love pro wrestling, bro, even me too, sitting through this 3 hour SmackDown show, there were some times where I'm just like, I just can't stay focused because they're not giving us anything to really stay focused on. There was a lot of stuff on here that's just like very, very filler, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, do you remember 7-hour WrestleManias when Vince was still in charge? Before we had split the two nights, I specifically remember WrestleMania of 20, God, I think it was 18. WrestleMania of 2018 was 7 hours long. 7 hours. That I mean, that was the same Mania that, God, it was like Alexa Bliss, I think, versus Nia Jax, and a Charlotte Flair versus Asuka, Shinsuke versus goddamn AJ Styles. 7 hours. And now that they've split
insane.
now that they've split it into two nights, you're talking about 8 to 10 hours, but at least across 2 fucking days. But still, like, this show, yeah, there was substance, but sometimes even with the substance, because you, in my opinion, you haven't gotten, it's not even about the attention span. You've lost a lot of the trust with the fans, believing that there isn't going to be bullshit they're going to have to slog through to get through this show. And I'm sorry, like, I don't agree with like the 3 hour thing being a problem, because there are people who will binge watch an entire fucking series in an afternoon on Netflix, and those are like 45 to 50-minute episodes, man. Like, I watched 5 episodes of Shameless last night, for Christ's sakes. Those episodes were 52 minutes apiece. It can be done, but the difference is it was entertaining consistently.
And
that's
it's not every
problem.
week you do that.
No, I mean, and that's the thing. Like with Raw, I mean, with Raw, at least Raw had the decency to drop half an hour. Very rarely do they cross that 2.5 hour mark. Very rarely. Like last Monday was an exception because they let AJ go for 15 minutes, which he had earned. But when you're talking about 3 hours, like let's say fucking half an hour's worth of it is just commercial and ads. You got another half hour put together of backstage segments or talking or promos. And then you've only got like 4 matches, maybe 5 sprinkled in to the next hour and a half. And it's a lot of, and then another 20 to 30 minutes of the entire show is a collection of entrances. It's like, bro, fuck. When you really break down what builds out that 3 hours, there's a lot of shit you can cut.
Well, okay, let's get into it, because it sounds like now it's starting to sound like we're just going to be complaining about the show. No, there was a lot of good stuff in the show, right? It started off really hot. They hooked us in the beginning, right? With some unexpected shenanigans. Like, we didn't know what was going on, right? Because Jey Uso was being stretchered out, and it started off really good, right? But at some point, it just started going downhill again, and then we went back up, and then the main event, it started off really good and it ended really good, but there's a lot of stuff in between that was kind of like, But we started off Jey Uso being stretched out in an ambulance, right? And right away, it's like, holy shit, what the fuck? What's happening? There's chaos. A lot of people are like rushing everywhere, and Cody's there. Jacob Fatu is like in the ambulance with Jake. Obviously, that's his cousin. And, it's just chaos, right? We have the men's elimination chamber competitors all there. And it's one of those things like everyone is a suspect, right? Anybody could have done this, right? So right off the bat, it starts off interesting. Who attacked Jey Uso and why? Right? We go to the ring and Drew McIntyre's out there. And then Cody comes out. And then Randy comes out. And it's like, holy shit, okay, we're going to see something to get us hyped for Elimination Chamber. And then Javon Evans comes out. And then LA Knight. And it's like, oh, okay. Things are popping, man. Things are happening here. LA Knight and Trick Williams, they get into a little brawl. They fight off. And then Randy Orton hits Javon Evans with an RKO. Holy shit. So it was a nice little tease before the chamber for the men's Elimination Chamber. Awesome way to kick off Friday Night Smack.
Yeah, it was a very strong angle to begin because keep in mind, guys, Jey was never meant to be in the chamber. We know based on the reactions during Monday Night Raw in the triple threat for the chamber qualifier that Jey seemed very upset, very noticeably concerned when he had to go and win the match on Monday. Then we know officially now with them taking him out at the beginning of this show, it was always going to be Bronson. That basically got confirmed tonight with them taking Jey out of the chamber. Because if they weren't worried or needed or didn't need Jey in the chamber at all, they would, or without a problem that being, they would have left him in the chamber. So when Bronson went out, they probably were like, well, fuck, now that we've got to pivot again, let's see what other storyline we can fit in here. Thus, entering the main event. We'll get into it. But the point is, it was a strong beginning. It takes you on a ride because let's be honest, it's not just about how you hook the fans, it's how you leave the fans. And with a strong intro and a strong finish, they know that fans will forgive some of the shit in between. SmackDown's got a very rough second hour on most weeks. The second hour is the worst because the first hour feels like it flies by. Second hour always feels like you got cinder blocks around your ankles and you're jumping off a cliff. And the third hour seems like it's at middle speed. At least we got through the beginning segment. Great setup for, okay, well, now the story we're telling is who replaces Jey. Now we get to actually have a full, long story for the show. Then we get all the actual competitors who are officially locked in tomorrow, interacting with each other, exchanging dialogue, talking about the problems they have with each other, the stories. Javon Evans calling back to Trick. Hey, you and I got history. Then you've got the setup with LA Knight, which could be a feud with Trick later. Decking him in the face. The Randy Cody stuff being the most interesting. They respect each other. They're like brothers, but they don't want to hurt each other, but they know they'll do whatever it takes to win this match tomorrow. This could also be plotting Easter eggs on their feud coming down the road, hopefully sometime this year. So there's a lot of stuff to sink your teeth into, even at a surface level. It's just a shame that when you start so strong with a show, man, it's one of those I'd hate to have to follow that scenarios. And that's what a lot of this show started to feel like.
Okay, listen, I get that Jey wasn't supposed to ever be in, but I'm still fucking pissed because he's my favorite, and it's just it's bullshit that they do this in general. Yes, it's not anyone's fault that Bronson got injured, which yes, I am fully aware that Bronson was originally supposed to be in, but it's just I don't know. To me, it's just a little bit bullshit. But other than that, I liked the opener. The opener was actually one of my favorite things. Just Javon smacking Trick on the back of the head, saying you're a dumbass, basically. And then LA Knight. Oh my God! After tonight, I feel more confident for him in the chamber, knowing that either it's going to be him and Trick that start, or Randy and Cody that start, or Trick and Javon, or a combination with someone. But LA Knight was on fire tonight. And I feel like that would lead over into Chamber. So I'm going to do a little prediction change, and I'm going with LA Knight because he was on fire tonight. So, yeah.
Yes, he was, but I think that's because they're setting him up to be final two. So that's what I think is happening. Crap. That is what I think personally is happening. I think that the final two are going to end up being Cody Rhodes, and LA Knight. But when it comes to who attacked good old Jey Uso, I have 3 names in my head. One is Trick Williams, simply because of the fact that he said the words, "That's 1 down, 4 to go." So I have a feeling like maybe he did something. Second name, Drew McIntyre, because it's a possibility that he could have also seen Jey as a slight little threat to his world title reign. Or there's the third option, the man who ended up getting a qualifying match for the main event, his own cousin, Jacob Fatu. Those are the 3 names that popped into my head when it comes to that. But when it comes to the actual segment itself, it was great. I love the fact that LA Knight did his whole classic thing of, and everybody's saying that Trick Williams just goes, "Whoop that trick." He's like, "Hey, did you just say whoop that trick? Okay, bam." So I found that really, really funny. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of those things that the WWE is just going to do their best to make us forget, because we still haven't found out who attacked Jacob Fatu, who fucking, broke his jaw or his teeth or whatever. We haven't gotten that answer. And it could be anybody who attacked Jey Uso. There was even a picture going around, apparently, that Austin Theory posted on his social media before the show of Jey Uso at the gym. So people are like, oh, Austin Theory was following Jey Uso before the show. It was Austin Theory that attacked Jey. So, I mean, it could be anybody. Will we ever find out? I don't think so. They did this. It feels like because of the Bronson Reed injury, they did all these things on the fly. And part of that makes good storytelling because it's like exciting. It's like unexpected. We have to come up with some new shit. And it seemed like this right here, what they did with Jey Uso felt new, felt fresh, and sometimes when they do this type of writing, it works. It's better. It's more interesting. But sometimes it can work for the worst. And I think we'll get into what I feel like, because of all these changes, didn't really work. But for this, I thought it was dope, man.
I got to be honest with you, because I don't feel like this is going to be one of those storyline threads they just drop. I'm going to tell you exactly who I believe attacked him, because I think it's the only thing that makes sense. The Usos are Raw superstars, Raw champion. The only people that would have had a beef with them would have been from their same brand, because I genuinely think it was Austin Theory and Logan Paul, or one of them, that attacked Jey, because it could set up what we talked about last night on the Thursday night one-on-one on TikTok Live, where I said I could see the vision remaining anyway, Logan and Austin taking the tag titles from the Usos. So this could set that story up. Jey could go, "I know who attacked me. Get your ass out here, Austin Theory or Logan Paul or whoever, and let's settle this right now." It turns into a feud that goes into Mania. That way we can keep the vision strong and maybe even put them over as champions in the absence of Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. So I think those two, or one of them, attacked him just so they can now set up a new story thread post-Chamber, because we know low shit. And that way Monday Night Raw can start their story building to WrestleMania.
All right, moving on, because we're going to talk about the vision here in a bit. Up next, we had a singles match, Solo Sikoa versus Uncle Howdy. And I got to be honest with you guys, I actually really enjoyed this match. It was a singles match, one-on-one, which was refreshing to me after all these fucking triple threat matches that we've been seeing. And it's a clear babyface versus heel. They're fighting over something. It's an object, but it's like, they even put the little lantern on top of where they usually put the championship belts, right? So I thought that was kind of interesting how they did that, because it's like the winner gets this. Yeah, it's a lantern, but it has a story. That object, that thing that they're fighting for, has meaning. But my favorite part about this is like the way that they did this match, Solo and Uncle Howdy. I felt like it got the people behind Uncle Howdy, because at first I felt like the crowd didn't really care about this match. And I don't blame them. The story really has been one of those like mid-card stories, not the greatest thing on the show. But the way that they worked the match, the fans started chanting for Uncle Howdy. They wanted Uncle Howdy to win, and he did. Uncle Howdy got the win clean. And that was another thing too. Is Solo Sikoa going to show up solo, alone? He did. They had a one-on-one match, no Gaga. I loved it. That to me, this is wrestling 101, and I thought it was.
I didn't give a shit about this. I have been so sick and tired of seeing any and every combination of MFTs and Wyatt Six. I don't even fucking care that this is a singles match with none of the stablemates involved. I'm just tired of seeing it. This better be the fucking end, because they already fucking cock teased just a couple weeks ago that it was going to be over. And then they kept dragging it out to this. I just don't give a fuck. Like, fighting over a fucking lantern is some WWE 2K20 whatever, My Rise fucking custom story mode storyline bullshit. It's so fucking dumb. It's the mid-card vortex story shit that never fucking ends. It's one of those stories that just goes on for fucking ever. And I'm so sick of it. I could not be bothered to fucking care about this any longer. And they had already I already lost interest in this feud 2 months ago. So please end this bullshit and just do something else. God damn.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I don't think this is ending yet, because I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, Tala Tonga took the lantern. Correct me if I'm wrong. But
I don't think he took it, but the MFTs did jump Uncle Howdy after the match, so I think this is going to.
No, they did take it. Tala grabbed it and then ran off with it as the rest of the Wyatt Six started to go after him.
Bro, if I could get my fucking hands on Road Dogg, I would. Man, I'd strangle a bitch, because he's one of the major parts of the writing team of SmackDown. I want to pimp slap the shit out of whoever will not fucking end this goddamn feud.
But anyways, I agree with a lot of things that have been said. It was a refreshing single match. Oh my God. Yeah, Solo is one of the person in there. Speak, brain. But it was a refreshing singles match. It was clean. There was no bullshit mid-match. And I did like the match, but however, it's just one of those things that you get tired of and you just don't give a shit anymore. So that's what ruined it for me. But I did like the match. The story, bullshit, and I want it to be over.
Yeah, we all want this to be over, but unfortunately, that's not going to happen. WWE currently has two massive issues when it comes to feuds. One, they have a habit of making them about inanimate objects that are not championships. They really do. The bracelet, the mask, this goddamn lantern. That is a massive thing.
The New Day's fucking sombrero.
Yeah. The point still stands over fucking inanimate objects that are not champions. The other is dragging out these feuds for way too goddamn long. They really do. One of the biggest points as of recently that I can easily point out is Aleister Black and Damian Priest. That 6-month-long feud. And now we've got this going almost just as long. So, please end this feud. Please. Just finally have a match where the Wyatt Six get back their lantern and end it. Since we all know that's exactly how this is going to end, because it's exactly how all the others ended, which is, hey, look, you have your item back. You no longer fight with. So please end it.
Boy, oh boy. Yeah, this thing with the MFTs, I thought for sure this was going to be the big blow off match with the leaders of each faction facing each other one-on-one. But later on, we saw the announcement by Nick Aldis that next week they are going to determine a number one contender for the MFTs to defend the tag team champions, because they haven't defended the tag team champions in quite some time. So we'll see what happens with the MFTs next week. there was a couple backstage segments that had to do with the story around Jey Uso after this match. The Vision showed up on SmackDown. Oddly enough, the Vision is from Raw. What the hell are they doing on SmackDown? But I thought this is great because we don't have to wait until Monday Night Raw to figure out what's going to happen with the Vision. Holy shit, Austin Theory and Logan Paul are on SmackDown. What the fuck are they going to do with them, right? And Logan Paul calls his shot for the Elimination Chamber. And now that Jey Uso is out, Logan Paul wants in. And Austin Theory's there, Paul Heyman's there, and they're all in agreement. Yes, Logan Paul, let him take the spot. Let him be in the chamber. And then we have a second video package right after that with Jacob Fatu wanting the same thing as Logan Paul. An opportunity. Jacob Fatu should be in the Elimination Chamber in this year of 2026. So we're starting to see where this is going. Nick Aldis tells both of them, let me make some phone calls. And later on in the show, this was the main event, how it was set up. Jacob Fatu and Logan Paul both want the same thing, a shot at the chamber. And that's how they set up the main event for this episode of SmackDown. Thoughts on these backstage segments, if any, fellas?
Not a lot of thoughts other than, yeah, makes sense. You got to course correct with Bronson. Only way to keep the Vision fresh is by giving them opportunities that keep them in the minds of the fans as much as possible, especially in big moments and big opportunities. Again, as I said prior, this is, to me, is what makes the most sense to set up the Vision with the Usos. If in fact it's revealed that the Vision are the ones that attacked Jey, I think it's perfect to get them in that spotlight so they can run Austin and Logan as a tag team, so we can get them to Mania, still keep the Vision strong in a championship match on the biggest stage of them all against two future Hall of Famers. Writes itself. That being said, should have been Austin who got this opportunity. Logan gets plenty of fucking opportunities. Logan gets plenty of spotlight. Austin Theory came back, and I feel like he has not had a single moment to stand out and shine. And if you ask me, this was the right time to put more focus on Austin Theory individually. Logan doesn't need more focus. Logan's been in high-profile matches with Roman Reigns and John Cena and Seth Rollins and all these other people, and he's been a champion. He's gotten to go to WrestleMania in bigger spots. He was one of the headlining matches of SummerSlam last year. So when I look at it, I'm just like, bro, Austin needs this way fucking more. I don't care about Logan's mainstream fucking appeal. Wrestling fans care about wrestling appeal. And so when it comes down to it, I think Austin made more sense in this spot. But other than that, if it keeps the Vision strong, okay.
Yeah, I agree. It should have been Austin, but I understand why it wasn't Austin, because he already had a shot to qualify against LA Knight and Penta. So that would have been giving him another chance, and Logan didn't get a chance. So, I mean, it made sense that in the end, now that I actually thought about it, but I no thoughts other than that.
Yeah, it does make sense, but at the same time, I don't like it. Because everything that Bled said is absolutely true. Austin Theory still has yet to fully show off since his return, since his reveal of him being the first masked man. And then you've got what in the world happened in the fucking main event, but we'll get to that. But still, I feel like Austin Theory, yes, he had his shot to qualify. But again, he got screwed over by the masked man during that triple. So that's the biggest thing. And it absolutely should have been Austin Theory in that main event instead of Logan Paul. He's already a tag team champion and a United States champion. He's held two different titles now, Logan Paul has. So I feel like they need to show off Austin Theory more since he literally just came back.
I got something to add here really quick. I got a feeling on how the men's chamber is going to end. Hear me out. I think it's going to be final two, Cody and Logan. I think if Logan gets this close to winning for some reason or other, and then I think the masked man comes up through the floor grates and then fucking attacks or stomps Logan, and then Cody gets the win. And then maybe we finally get the reveal of the other masked man tomorrow night.
we got the reveal of the masked man, but we'll talk about that later on in the main event because I got a lot to say about that. But and that might change your opinion, Mr. Blood, on what you just said, because holy sh. But the reason I want to talk about these backstage segments, the way they set up the main event, because I don't know if you guys noticed this. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but there was a moment where I was thinking the same thing. It should be Austin Theory. It should be Austin Theory. While I was thinking this, Austin Theory was nodding his head at everything that Logan Paul was saying. Paul Heyman was there. Nick Aldis was there. And then when everyone walked away, Austin Theory stayed in the picture by himself, and he said something that I thought was really interesting. I don't like that guy. Right after Logan Paul got done talking, but he could have been talking about Nick Aldis, right? But also, I took it as, is he talking about Logan Paul or is he talking about Nick Aldis? So it's like one of those things, like this little, I felt like it was like a little Easter egg that Austin Theory threw in there for us. Like, was he really talking about Nick Aldis, you know? So I thought that was interesting. I don't know. That might be something that we got to look out for later on in the future. Who knows? All right, you guys. This is when the show started going downhill for me because this is a serious case of false advertisement, and I call bullshit on this. The match that was advertised was Asuka versus Tiffany Stratton. And I thought, cool, we're going to get a little teaser of the Elimination Chamber for the Women's Chamber, right? Both of these women are in the chamber. Yeah, it's cool. Let them have a little one-on-one. It's Asuka. It's Tiffany Stratton. But then Asuka came out and was like, no, I'm not about to have a match the night before the chamber. I'm going to rest. Tiffany Stratton, you can wrestle Kairi Sane. And I'm like, oh, hail to the nah. Nah, bro. I'm not going to fucking sit through this. Ugh. I'm sorry, dog. So they had a match. Tiffany Stratton won. And who gives a shit is how I was.
I mean, card subject to change, brother. Can't be false advertising when you tell everybody that ahead of time, which they do.
False advertisement.
But false advertising actually requires a promise being made, and card subject to change, make sure that it isn't a promise. But when it comes down to it, you're right, man. Sitting through a Tiffany Stratton match, oh my fucking God. When it came down to it, I like to mention the fact that Tiffany Stratton got her ass kicked for a lot of this match. This is a former women's champion, and Kairi was putting work in. End of the day, match was what it was. Love that Kairi looked great. I don't fucking care for Tiffany Stratton at all in the ring. I didn't give a shit about her title reign. I thought it was a massive waste of 9 months in the women's division on SmackDown. Thought it was massively underperforming and very disappointing. She's extremely talented. What an incredible athlete, but she was not ready for that spot. And to me, she's only a catchphrase, and she comes off more as a heel than a face. So I don't buy her in any baby face position whatsoever. I automatically cheer for anybody against her. And Kairi, I love Kairi. I thought Kairi looked great. But let's talk about the best thing out there that match. Chelsea Green, our girl in the Footcast, man, being the most entertaining thing about all of this, because that's just how goddamn good she is, Michael Hayes. And when it came down to it, I love that even with a Footcast, she took 2 bumps. I mean, I was like, this is why Chelsea Green deserves a push. She's a team player. No matter what she's doing, no matter how hurt she is, put her in any position, she will be the most entertaining over thing in that position. And I love that she was out there. Kairi lost. Okay. Tiffany won. Who fucking cares?
Mr. Blood is like the only person in the world that cares about Kairi.
Oh, no. You got to check the internet, my friend.
Okay, so I feel like both of y'all's issues are on 2 different fucking people. Obviously, the one down there hates Tiffany, and the one next to me hates Kyrie. So, yeah. But I thought this match was just straight up bullshit and a waste of time. I mean, the match was good, but just why couldn't you put LA Knight versus Trick Williams in this spot? I would have rather seen that because they actually had something going in the opener. So why couldn't they, hey, go to the locker room, get your gear on, beat the shit out of each other? I mean, I would have just.
I'll tell you why. Because on a 3-hour show, they have to justify. They can't justify only 2 women's matches on a 3-hour show. The fans, they won't hear the end of it online.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just my personal opinion that I would have rather seen LA Knight versus Trick Williams on this instead of Kyrie and Tiffany. It was just boring, including the massive shit show that was at ringside. And I'm not talking about Wade Barrett. I'm talking about whatever the fuck her name is, Chelsea Green.
I get what you're saying. Sorry, Tommy. Let me jump in here real quick. I get what you're saying, Tox. But if you have LA Knight versus Javon Evans, I don't think
Trick
you can
Willie.
beat. I mean, Trick Williams. Both of those guys are in the chamber, and you can't beat one or the other because they're both going to be in the chamber, right? And I think that's why they did what they did here with Asuka and Tiffany Stratton, because like both of these women are going to be in the chamber. If one gets beat the night before, it's kind of like, well, there goes their momentum, you know. And this way, they beat Kairi Sane. She's not going to be in the chamber, so I think that's probably why they did what they did, you know.
But that argument also goes out the window when you realize that who lost in the women's tag title match tonight, who got pinned tonight, who's in the chamber tomorrow.
I don't know. We're not there yet, Blood.
Well, she's a goth muscle mommy, and everybody loves her. So that
No
argument
one cares, dog. We will get there. Right now, that's non-existent.
I'm just saying something else that happened on this show completely negates that point.
Go ahead, Tommy. We'll get there.
Yeah, in fact, I was literally just about to bring that up. But
yeah,
that was
don't.
Literally going to be the first thing I was going to say. But still, I do find it very interesting that there is not a single man in that chamber that competed tonight. Meanwhile, for the women's side, Tiffany Stratton and Rhea Ripley both competed tonight. So what's that say about tomorrow?
Who's Rhea Ripley? I never heard of her.
Bullshit. But I will say that Chelsea Green did take a couple of bumps. She did great. I'm still very, very confused on why in the world she was out there for this match. I am so confused on why she was out there. But there we go, though. Now we have a thing going with maybe these 2 women and Chelsea Green, especially with the fact that both of them did end up on top of her in some sort of way during this match. I know. Pause. Resume.
Don't pause.
But still, like, Kairi Sane did that crossbody onto both Chelsea Green and I believe that's Alba. My brain sucks between the two of those two. But still, that happened. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see where in the world that goes between the 3 of them.
I'd like to figure out why the fuck on a 3-hour show of SmackDown so many Raw talents were wrestling tonight. It just goes to show Raw took all the star power. So they're like, hey, instead of that like 60 fucking athlete deep fucking roster we have here on SmackDown, we're going to give like 60 to 70% of them the night off and let all the Raw people pull double duty this week. Like, the fuck?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on here that just kind of felt like last minute changes. Up next, we had Obafemi versus The Miz. What are they doing with Oba, bro? I mean, this is like the second week in a row where they pretty much do the same thing with Oba, but with different people. You know, last week it was Kit Wilson, where Kit Wilson did cut a not even a promo. Kit Wilson read Obafemi a poem, and then Oba squashed Kit Wilson. And then this week, The Miz and Oba have a segment where The Miz tries to join forces with Oba. Yeah, we should be a tag team. And then Oba squashes The Miz, but it's like, this is not how I pictured Obafemi being put in the main roster. Like, we don't know which show he's going to be a part of. Has he signed to Raw? Has he signed to SmackDown? For the past few weeks, he's been more on SmackDown, having goofy, funny segments with people, and then squashing them. And it's just like, we already saw that. Like, what? I got to be honest. I'm not feeling it, bro. I'm not feeling it. And I'm starting to lose my patience with this. But what did you guys think?
I think this is WWE's attempt at comedy. And Oba's not the guy that fits in that fucking spot. Oba should be in the Ryback fucking spot, which is for like a month and a half, 2 months straight. He's fucking running through and flattening anybody from the undercard, lower mid card, random local talent, fucking jobbers. Like, he should be running roughshod all over the entire roster, SmackDown, Raw. Hell, I think you should be giving him the open challenge fucking gimmick. Anybody who can come out here and try to beat me, come out here. I am the ruler, whatever. Like, and just everybody who can try from, mid card and down, come out. The upper mid card guys can have competitive matches with him. The regular mid card or lower mid card can, give him a little bit of work and then get murdered. And then the fucking lower card can job the fuck out. And we just keep making him look like an unstoppable force to inevitably build up the way that he looks when he answers the open challenge of Brock Lesnar. So I think that's what should be done. I get it. You want to say, hey, he can beat the fuck out of The Miz. Okay, who can't? And on top of that, it was even less impressive when he did it to Kit Wilson. None of this is helping him look impressive. What's impressive to me is not a direct squash. What's impressive to me is watching him overcome something, or he looks monstrous with I want someone to get some offense on him so he can show that explosiveness and going, that's not going to work on me. Just having him run through people like wet tissue paper is not making me go, man, I'm impressed with Oba. You know what should have been a bigger deal tonight? Oba fucking Femi squashed and pinned a fucking 2-time Grand Slam champion and former world fucking champion. That should be a big deal. Do you see them making a big deal out of it? No, it should. This is why I hate that they have neutered The Miz. It would have been such a massive fucking deal if this was 10 years ago and Oba had pinned 9-time Intercontinental Championship heel. That would have meant something. Now it's, hey, this 20 fucking plus year veteran that I just pinned, that's a 2-time Grand Slam champion, former world champion, beat John Cena in the main event of fucking WrestleMania. Remember that. The Miz beat John Cena. Gunther beat John Cena. That, you don't realize what that, like, in the continuity of wrestling, wins and losses matter, but also who beat who matters. This is the fucking Miz. This should mean something. And that should mean even more for Oba, and it didn't. So I'm like, yo, put him on Raw, move on. Let's get to the fucking Brock build.
So I like what Oba's doing. I completely disagree with everything that has been said. He is tearing through the SmackDown roster, jobber to Miz isn't even considered a jobber to me, even though that's what he feels like right now. Which, speaking of the Miz, just don't try and have him team with anyone, because the last 3 guys, except for R-Truth, that he's teamed with have end up turning on him. Examples: Logan Paul, Carmelo Hayes, and Oba. So yeah, Miz should be by himself. But I really like what Oba's doing on Raw better, because he's had those stare-offs with Rusev, and I really want to see those on a weekly basis, or just more of that. But I'm liking what Oba's doing right now, and I do agree that he needs something bigger right now, and that something bigger is probably Rusev. So I'm excited.
Yeah, there are clearly 3 matches that need to happen, 2 of which have already been hinted when it comes to Oba Femi. That being Brock Lesnar, with the fact that the fans were chanting his name during that whole open challenge segment. Rusev, in which they've already had that face-off. And as Blood said, the one other man that has beaten John Cena, besides the man that he just tore through and murdered tonight, Gunther. Those 3 matches need to happen. You really want to push him even more than just feeding him all of these guys? Put him with those 3. Those 3 massive men. They need to happen. And I completely agree with him when he says that this should have been a bigger thing. Think of every fucking accomplishment that The Miz has had. Double Grand Slam champion, former WrestleMania main eventer, beat John Cena in the main event of WrestleMania. This should be a massive fucking thing, but it's not. Unfortunately, it's not, because they have cut off the tiny balls off of The Miz, and they have yet to put them back on. That's the biggest problem here, is the fact that beating The Miz at this point is not impressive anymore, as it would have been before. It absolutely, like say 3-4 years ago, would have been absolutely impressive that you beat The Miz. But now, it's not. And plus, the majority of this match wasn't even a match. It was a fucking promo, in which this is the second damn week in a row that the match itself has lasted like 3 goddamn minutes, if that. But the majority of it is them talking. This is a wrestling show. Beat the fuck out of each other. That's what needs to happen. But unfortunately, the last 2 weeks, this week and last week, it's just been Obafemi talking to him. Although the best line from tonight is, "The Miz, tonight you are going to die." And right before that man got squashed. So that's the biggest problem with this, is it's so stupid that he's just squashing through with like nothing going on.
All right, you guys, the next 2 matches, I'm just going to fly by them because, again, man, these were honestly just filler matches. I mean, the first one, you can either call it false advertisement or card subject to change, whatever you want to call it. It was a Carmelo Hayes U.S. Open Challenge, which originally was supposed to be versus Ilya Dragunov. But Ilya Dragunov didn't feel like wrestling tonight because he hasn't been winning. I believe Ilya got beat last week, so Ilya was like, I don't deserve a title shot. And Carmelo Hayes was like, nah, bro, go get dressed. No. You go fight somebody else. And who answered the U.S. Open Challenge? Matt Cardona. Did I think he have a chance? No, I did not. Was it cool to see Matt Cardona in that U.S. title picture? Yes, I did. Carmelo Hayes won, and they had a match. Thank you for coming, Matt Cardona. And then we had Jordynne Grace versus Candice LeRae, where the major focus point of this was Johnny Gargano being emo and planking ringside and basically cost his own wife, Candice LeRae, the match after he very, very sadly walked away. Jordynne Grace took advantage, hit her finisher on Candice LeRae. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I loved the U.S. Open title match because I think Matt Cardona and Carmelo Hayes actually have some really good chemistry. I thought they worked really, really well off each other. In my opinion, this is the best match Matt Cardona's had since he's been back. This is the best match he's had since he's been back. And I'm going to also argue Carmelo Hayes is the best opponent he's gotten in the ring with since he's been back, because they had a great back and forth, very competitive. Carmelo had to fight to win. You know, Matt had him beat, damn near beat like twice. When it came down to it, I thought that this might be the time that Carmelo actually loses it, because Carmelo looked pretty beat up in this match. He was favoring that arm. He looks like those open challenges are finally starting to get to him, that it's too much. He can't hang, he can't maintain. And it looked like Matt was going to exploit that, but this was also a babyface versus babyface dynamic, and I don't think that the crowd exactly knew who to cheer. People love Matt, people love Carmelo. And as far as it goes, yeah, you kept it on Carmelo, but at the same time, you could have easily put this on Matt Cardona as well. And I don't think the fans would have been upset either way. The fans love both these guys, but the fans, you can argue they love Matt Cardona more just because he's been a part of the company on and off for 20 years, and they know him much more than they know. But Carmelo's also the hot, shiny new toy on SmackDown. He's one of those hot, shiny new toys on the main roster of the last 2 years, and he is one of their champions, and he's a babyface champion. So I thought that match was great. When it comes to Candice and Jordynne, I thought, what a waste of Jordynne Grace's fucking time. She just had a championship match against fucking Jade Cargill, goddammit, and this is the next thing you give her? Like, it's no secret. I am not a fucking fan of the Poison Pixie Like, I just can't give a fuck. I mean, they left. I mean, she was last important thing Candice LeRae did before they fucking fired her tag partner, a year and a half ago, beginning of last year, was she was a fucking backup. And I want you to hear this. Candice LeRae was the backup of Nia fucking Jax, trying to weed her way into Nia and come between her and Tiffany Stratton. Okay. Yeah. Anybody remember that storyline? I didn't think so. And when it came down to it, it's like, okay, then she was off TV for months until they randomly turned DIY heel. And then all of a sudden, now she's this third factor in their tag team. And now she's a valet again out of the ring. Now I'm supposed to give a fuck that she's wrestling again? I don't. I can't even think of the last time I actually saw Candice LeRae in a fucking match. And this Johnny Gargano stuff, I love this man to death, but this just is not it. Why are you also wasting his time? What is this for?
I agree with Wade Barrett. Johnny's new name, as long as he's going to be like this, should be Johnny Depresso. But yeah, these two matches were good in my opinion. Candice and Jordan not really as good because it was mostly centered around Gargano. Even commentary didn't really even pay attention to the match. Neither did I. But yeah, that match just was not it. But on the other hand, Matt Cardona and Carmelo Hayes, that was way better. Just in-ring chemistry, good. It was just all around a good match. And probably my second favorite in the Open Challenge series from Carmelo. The first being Leon Slater, because Leon is just that fucking good. But I digress.
Okay, so Carmelo Hayes, great. I'm telling you right now, there's not a single bad match I can name involving Carmelo Hayes. Plain and simple, especially with this Open Challenge stuff that he's been going through. They've mostly been great. He's been carrying them. Matt Cardona, fantastic. All of that. Johnny Depresso Espresso. That is what this man is. He's constantly depressed. In fact, I made a joke to a friend of mine when I took a screenshot of it. And I sent it to him. I'm like, me whenever this happens or something like that. Like me when I get friend zoned or something like that. So she got a laugh out of it. So did I. That, I hate it. I absolutely hated Candice LeRae versus Jordan Grace. I despised it because it sucked ass. It was boring as all hell. Like my brain, I have ADHD. I said that when we did the NXT review. So my brain was off in a different fucking dimension during Jordan Grace versus Candice LeRae.
You know why I didn't like that match? It just fucking hit me. Candice LeRae versus Jordan Grace, it legitimately reminded me of the Divas era in a very bad way. One talent who's, the kind of buffer, powerhouse of the women's division versus the rando undercard. And then it's a story surrounding a man in the women's division. And the crowd did not give a fuck. This was so heatless, such a quick match. No fanfare, good or bad. It reminded me of like a 2011, 2012 Divas era, fucking random middle of the show match. It had go away.
Yeah, and the whole reason Johnny Gargano is even like this is because he lost the mask of Axiom, who Gargano stole the mask from him. Then they stole it back from Johnny Gargano. And that's why he's upset. So it's like, what the?
It's a grown man, by the way. This is a grown man, by the way. Like,
no, well, I would say semi-grown.
Legitimately, like,
he's 5 feet tall.
There are dumber fucking stories, sure, but at one point, this was the most popular wrestler in the world on the independent scene.
I don't know.
At the one point where he was the hottest prospect in the indies. This is what they've relegated him to. He was the face of fucking black and gold NXT, for Christ's sakes. This is literally what they've relegated him to 10 years later. I'm just like, dude, just release him from his contract so he can go wrestle anywhere else and get 10 times better the booking, because this is one of those few guys where I'm like, you know what? Let him go to goddamn AEW, please, because it ain't it for him here no more. I'm sorry.
All right, the women's tag team champions, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, defended versus Nia Jax and Lash Legend. And again, man, I mean, I have not really been too big as much as most wrestling fans have when it comes to Rhea and Io, the stuff that they've been doing lately. Yes, they're tag team champions. Yes, they're over with their own WWE fan base. It's just not for me. This match wasn't for me. As much as I like all these women, honestly, and I thought Nia Jax looked great tonight, but I just did not care for this match. But the good thing is that it was actually worth the wait because we got new tag team champions. Not only that, Lash Legend pinned Rhea Ripley, and you guys are absolutely right. It's crazy to say that not only because Lash Legend pinned Rhea Ripley, but Rhea Ripley is going to be in the chamber tomorrow. And that did not cross my mind at all, because what I was thinking during this was, it's all right, It's okay Lash Legend pinned Rhea Ripley because, like we all predicted in our prediction episode, Rhea Ripley's going to win the chamber. I mean, I still believe that. So I'm like, it's all right. Let Lash Legend, Nia Jax get the women's tag team titles because Rhea Ripley is going to go to WrestleMania anyway. So I like the finish. Didn't care too much about the match itself, but it was worth the wait.
I think the match was fine. It was good. It was decent. It was Lash got the win. I think that's a massive deal for Lash. She just pinned, again, a former women's champion. That means something. I wish it meant more for like Oba getting a pin over goddamn Miz, but this is what happens, WWE, when you actually book and keep your decorated talent strong in their booking for years on end with continuity and consistency. It means something when an up-and-comer pins them. It does more for that up-and-comer. Crazy fucking thought. Now, Lash not only pinned a former champion, but a world champion, she pinned her for a championship. And she pinned her clean. That's the big deal. So when it comes down to it, it's a foregone conclusion. Rhea Ripley winning tomorrow. I said it first. I said it with emphasis, and I fucking meant it. The biggest money match with Bianca Belair out for Jade Cargill at Mania, there is not a bigger fucking opponent, a bigger marquee match you can give Jade Cargill in the women's division in the entire company, period. There's no one more popular than Rhea Ripley in the women's division company-wide. There's not let me put it this way. There's not a more popular female wrestler on the fucking planet than Rhea Ripley. So when it comes down to it, this is the smartest move they can make. If tomorrow comes and they fucking give it to Tiffany Stratton, I'm going to uppercut somebody in the fucking throat. It needs to be goddamn Rhea. I don't need to see fucking Tiffany versus Jade 4. You feel me? Got enough of that bullshit last year. Give it to Rhea. Sometimes WWE, the safest option is the best option. And Rhea is a surefire fucking thing for match engagement, making Jade look great, and putting on a great fucking match because she'll drag a great match out of Jade kicking and screaming.
I don't know why, but part of me felt like it was too soon for them to lose. But that could be the fact that I just liked all their matches and they were good as a team. But I feel like it's time for them to go their separate ways. Hell, if you're going to have Rhea win the chamber, I would put her on SmackDown, and if you want, you could reunite the Terror Twins and have Io go after the Women's Intercontinental Championship so that she can elevate that title. But the point is, I didn't really care that we had new tag champions. I mean, it's weird, but I don't really know. My thoughts are confused, I guess. But Rhea and Io need to just split up.
Now I'm just worried what the hell Io doesn't mean. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like, look at it this way. Rhea Ripley, first off, I hope they don't move her to SmackDown. She's Raw coded, and Raw needs a star of her caliber in the women's division. I'm sorry. SmackDown's already got Charlotte fucking Flair. When it comes down to it, we split these two up. Fine. The problem is that means we see Rhea on SmackDown for the next 7 goddamn weeks. So that means Raw doesn't have her. Does that mean we have to involve Io and Asuka in a match for WrestleMania? Because if you're going to start breaking up these teams, the moment they lose their championships, okay. But this stuff has to lead somewhere that makes sense for not only both brands, but for the progression of all the women involved post these teams, post these championships. Because Io and Rhea have been involved with each other for a solid year of stories. 1 whole year. They cannot just move Rhea Ripley off away from Io without something separating them story-wise. Otherwise, what a fucking anticlimactic separation that.
And here's my biggest problem. What do you do with the tag titles that we haven't already fucking seen with the Irresistible Forces? What do you do?
What do you mean?
Nia Jax has basically gone up against either one-on-one or in a tag match with almost every single goddamn woman in this women's tag division. That's my biggest problem.
So what, man?
What do you do with them now?
He's basically, what he's trying to say, Ed, is that it's been there, done that, seen it all already. So what is going to be fresh for Nia Jax and Lash Legend in the women's division? Because they've gone up against every woman's team in every combination and one-on-one action tag team, whatever, for the last 6 months is what he's trying to say. It's going to be boring. How do you freshen it up? And I have 2 words for you, even though I'd rather swallow broken glass and chase it with broken nails. The Bella Twins.
I hope.
They're going to put those titles in the
what
Bellas.
it's leading up to.
They're going to put those titles in the Bellas, bro.
Unfortunately, that's probably what it's leading up to. And as much as I hate to fucking say it, like, I despise that idea. But unfortunately, that's what it's leading to. But that's my biggest thing. Besides, you just pinned one of the women in the goddamn chamber. Like, yes, she's in there. She's most likely going to win the chamber. But again, you just pinned a woman in the goddamn elimination chamber less than 24 hours before she's in it. And you gave her a massive beating while doing so. That's a massive issue.
Not really, brother. If anybody can eat 1 pin and still be beloved and it not slow her momentum down at all, it's Rhea. Especially, it doesn't kill her momentum, brother. If she gets pinned one night, but then literally wins a shot to the WrestleMania the next night, her momentum doesn't get halted from a 24-hour period from one loss. It's 24 hours. She wins tomorrow. No one's going to even remember this fucking loss in a month.
But what if this is an out for Rhea Ripley not winning the chamber? She just had a massive title match the night before. She's beat up.
And I mean, we don't know what entry she's going to be. She could be number 6. She'd be the last woman out, which would suck for everybody in there because you better run like fucking hell if she's the freshest person in the match. But when it comes down to it, like, nothing they do can hurt Rhea. But any bad decision they make with who they put Jade up against that isn't Rhea does hurt Jade. It does hurt that championship. It hurts WrestleMania's headlining. There is no woman in that match that is going to stack up to the match of Rhea and so I don't care if she lost tonight. I don't care if she lost clean tonight. If you don't put Rhea Ripley up against Jade Cargill, none of those other matches will be half as good or half as big or half as important or half as cared about. You want people to give a fuck about Jade's title reign when most fans don't? You need to put her up against someone the fans give every fuck about. And that's Rhea Ripley.
Tommy, anything else you want to add before we move on to the main event?
Nope. Let's talk about that sucker.
All right. The main event was Logan Paul versus Jacob Fatu. I believe this is the first time ever for these two to step in the ring one-on-one. And it was lovely, man. It was a lovely match. However, these guys went about 10 minutes. Nothing wrong with the match. I thought it was great. But this kind of goes back to, the opening segment, right? That kind of felt this was put together very last minute. For the most part, that turned out to be pretty good. It was the best thing on the show. except for the masked man. The masked man showed up. And after everything that has been happening with Bronson Reed's injury, Braun Breaker's injury, one of the big questions is what's going to happen with the masked man? And then the reports started coming out. Oh, there's going to be lots of changes in that story involving the masked man. The WWE is rewriting everything. The masked man showed up. Holy shit. Okay. Damn, that was unexpected. Logan Paul takes him out. And then they unmask him, and it's some nobody, some random guy. I'm not going to say he's a nobody. I don't know who the guy is. No one knows who he is. It was just some random guy, and I couldn't help but shake the feeling like they just did this to kind of just tie up loose ends, just to be like, okay, we got to find a way to get rid of this side of the story. We unmasked the guy, and it was just some random person, so we can just move on from this and completely forget about it. Because it was just like, who the fuck whose man's is this? Is this really the guy? I thought there was going to be a second guy that's going to show up. This was just like a distraction for the real mask guy. That was it. It was just some random person that they picked off the street. No one knows who this guy is, and that was it. Okay. And then Logan Paul takes advantage of all the shenanigans that are happening. He low blows Jacob Fatu behind the referee's back. He hits his frog splash. 1, 2, 3. Logan Paul defeated Jacob Fatu in the main event of SmackDown, which also I believe this is a first for Logan Paul to main event of SmackDown. Logan Paul is going to the Chamber. I'm not upset about it. I think Logan Paul is going to be cool at the Chamber. But this masked man, bro, like, what the fuck? What did you guys think?
I think you're missing the point, brother. That is not how they're just ending the masked man story. That's not them just moving on from the part of the story because the rest of the division's out injured. That's them reminding you that it could literally be anybody. The point is that whoever the real masked man is enlisted this guy to go out there and throw them off even further, throw them off their game so he can actually appear later and screw them over. They're going to think the masked man's all said and done. They're going to think, oh, we finally unmasked the guy. They're going to think, who the hell is this? But really, the masked man is just playing mind games. Some random trainee with WWE, some producer, backstage hand, or some guy who's a local talent wrestler. And that's what it really is. It's not over. This is not them throwing the story away. This is them reminding you that they haven't forgotten that part of the story is still an unknown factor in Chamber and on the way to WrestleMania and potentially at WrestleMania itself if they don't unmask the real masked man tomorrow in some angle during the Chamber itself. I thought this was the best thing on the show, this reveal of this masked man. I love when WWE goes, you think you know what we're doing? Oh, you don't know what we're doing. You think that this is us just doing bullshit? Oh, there's a bigger angle because they successfully did what they wanted. Snug, they aggravated you. They pissed you off. They annoyed you. They made you think that what a bullshit way to finish this off. That's the point. To get you thinking so much about that, you're going to miss it when the real masked man shows up and you're going to go, oh, that was the plan the whole time, because it was. They wouldn't put some random motherfucker out there on SmackDown if they didn't plan on him being a red herring for the real guy later. They successful, and it means they did a good job at doing that with that guy because it worked. It worked on you. So if it worked on you, how many other fans did it work on? You see what I'm saying? Probably a few thousand, which is exactly what they want for tomorrow night leading into WrestleMania. Because I do think Masked Man maybe becomes a factor in the Chamber Final 3 or 2. We might get that return angle from Seth or somebody or whoever the fuck's under that real mask tomorrow. And all that does is add more excitement, and more viewers are going to go, I got to tune in tomorrow to the Men's Chamber to see if Seth returns or someone returns or who it is. That was the point of this tonight, and it worked full fun. And emphasis on the word marks.
Yeah, I didn't think about it that way. Not that I was pissed about it. I knew that wasn't the real Masked Man, but I was just not thinking about it in the way that I probably should have been, or the smart way to think about it, or whatever you want us to call it. But the match itself was good. I don't know. There's just something about Logan going onto the chamber because I'm pretty sure two of the men that are in the chamber have been in the past 3 chambers. Logan and Randy. I'm pretty sure. Was Randy in last year? No?
Last year was John Cena's final chamber. I don't think he was in there, right? That was John, that was Cody, that was Seth, that was Punk. I don't think Randy was in that one.
Oh no, he returned at Elimination Chamber. Okay. Yeah, my bad. But Logan's just been in the past 3 chambers, so I mean, he usually does some crazy shit in the chambers. I mean, the one in Australia, he got his ass kicked by Kevin Owens. Last year he did something. I don't remember last year's chamber a lot other than Cena turning heel and Randy returning. Actually, no, I don't remember that because I just thought he was in the chamber. But I don't know. There's something weird about Logan winning and going on when there's clearly a bigger story with Jacob and Drew that you could rather tell if Jacob wins the chamber, which he won't be doing because bum-ass Logan Paul is in there.
And that's exactly what I was thinking, Tox. The moment this match was even announced earlier, my initial thought was, oh, Jacob Fatu is going to murder Logan Paul simply because of the fact that Cody Rhodes is in there. They have problems, which means maybe Cody's not winning the chamber. And then they gave it to Logan Paul because of Drew McIntyre hitting Jacob Fatu with the goddamn title. God, that is so dumb to me. But at the same time, it proves that the entire plan was to always have somebody from the Vision inside of the Elimination Chamber. And so the Vision can have that representation there. So Logan's going to be in there. He's either going to be final 3 or final 2. I can almost promise you the first 3 names that pop into my head for the final 3 are Cody, LA Knight, and Logan at the current moment. So that's probably what's going to happen. But still, that's going to be a massive thing. And everything he does, every match that he's in, he's got to have something go absolutely viral. One of the biggest things he did was back at the Royal Rumble, not this year, but back when Ricochet was still in WWE, that double clothesline up top midair type of thing. Or the Superman punch with Roman Reigns in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. So he's got to have something that constantly goes viral.
Him and Javon.
It's very interesting to see what in the world that's going to be for them.
Him and Javon are going to do something crazy tomorrow, and I'm excited to see it.
Well, for all of our sakes, man, I hope that they actually give us some type of closure when it comes to this fucking mask, man, because, I mean, just knowing WWE's history, like, for example, the whole thing that happened with Jacob Fatu, and, you know, we did this angle again with Jey Uso. Who attacked, what did you guys say, this whole Scooby-Doo shit that they do or whatever?
We did it with Jade Cargill, too, last year.
Yeah, so I'm like, man, if this is... I just have a bad feeling about this, but I hope you're right, Mr. Blood. But we'll see what happens. Luckily, we don't have to wait very long because the Elimination Chamber is less than 24 hours away. And we will be keeping a close eye on that. But for now, that was it for us tonight. That was the SmackDown review with the Snug Wrestling Crew. We will be back again tomorrow night, right after Elimination Chamber, to go over all the fucking shenanigans of the PLE tomorrow. But let's get up out of here.
Guys, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Snug Wrestling. That is the February 27th, 2026 edition of SmackDown, reviewed and in the books. The go-home show of Elimination Chamber 2026, which is live tomorrow night. Now, thanks for kicking it with us as always. We appreciate every single one of you for tuning in as always. And if you love hanging out with us, you can do it more throughout the weeks on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays after Raw, NXT, and SmackDown go off the air for live post-show reviews and for bonus content, for reaction content. Check out all of our social media across the board for segment-to-segment reaction content. And, of course, every Thursday night on TikTok Live, you can kick it with me, Mr. Blood, and the founder of Snug Wrestling, Edgar, when we do one-on-one random or relevant hour-long TikTok Live streams where we also answer your fan questions live, of course, covering random or relevant wrestling topics. And of course, guys, to support the podcast, you can always head on over to teepublic.com, teepublic.com/Snug Wrestling to check out over 100 different designs on Snug Wrestling merch and support the channel. And again, tomorrow we will be here after the chamber goes off the air for a post-show review as well. So remember, as always, if you're never catching our show live, you can always check us out on Apple and Spotify too. But during the regular shows, we're always live on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook Live. Of course, again, until next time, guys, stay safe, stay savage, and stay snug. And for the chamber, boys, I said that was one time for the one times. I said that was
4 letters.
4 letters.
One word.
word.
Come on.